So, dear Dhamma practitioners, we're going to start our ongoing meditation session now. You can be comfortable yourself and relax your body. And sit comfortably and keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line, and your right palm on your left. Slowly and gently close your eyes and bring your attention to this bell sound. And while you're focusing to the sound, you can mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing with your thoughts. Do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened One. So bring your attention to your body, please. Observe head to toes yourself and recite mentally, Swapatveva, or may I be well and happy, 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable. May my breath be more smooth. May no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also think for a moment. This is the last moment we are spending in this very lifetime. And detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalation and exhalation. So in the beginning, bring your attention to your whole body and feel your whole body as one. So get a very clear view regarding your posture. And head to toes your whole body. Look very carefully and see how you feel. Your legs, your arms, shoulder, head. Don't interfere with anything. Just observe and recognize. Bring attention to the lower part of your body. See, is there any strong tightness, heaviness, sensation, any feelings? And your lower back. Without interfering to any kind of sensation or the feelings, just observe. Upper back and shoulders. No need to think about anything. Don't judge. Don't have any kind of comments yourself. Develop direct perception with the sensation or the feelings. See it as it is. And bring your attention to in front of your nose and your upper lip area. Deeply and gently breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. So now allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. And when it happens, through the sensation of it, just recognize inhalation as inhalation, exhalation as exhalations. Do nothing extra. Time to time, watch yourself and see where your mind, while you're observing inhalation, exhalation, is your mind interfering with any other thoughts related to past or the future, or even in the present moment, to anything else? If so, gently, slowly bring it back to the inhalation and exhalation. Again and again. Make sure you are 100% settled down with the sensation. Little bit increase your awareness and follow the entire continuation of the inhalation, exhalation. Knowingly, this is the beginning, this is the middle, this is the end of the inhalation or exhalation. Observe and recognize the entire process of inhalation and exhalation. So some inhalation, exhalations may become longer, shorter, heavy, soft, warm, cold. Just recognize it. And at the same time, it will calm down your body, calm down your mind, calm down inhalation, exhalation itself. Release all the methods, patterns, technique. Just simply bring your attention to right now, right here, what you experience within your own body. Just recognize and see it. Very carefully observe, analyze without judging, without having self-centered mind. Observe the perception and the perceiver both. Experience and experiencer both. Object and subject both. Bring attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also, as far as you can, through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this with clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe, and may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away. Already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward, visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your backside, to your left side, and to your right side. Downward and upward. To all six directions at once, like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy without any condition, without any resistance, or without any limitation, or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it with the maximum effort to the highest. Wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So dear Dhamma practitioners, nowadays we have very familiar word, connection, connectivity. So as you know, always your mobile phone, internet, cable, network, we always talk about connection. We always look for the connection. And as you know, sometimes if the connection drop, you cannot be with the process, that you cannot go with the process. And once you disconnect from the connection, then you come to a point kind of like don't know what to do. In another way, we call you lost the connection. And then as soon as possible, you try to connect somehow. You find a way to connect it. So that is a very physical example, simile I gave. That what we experience nowadays, even the Zoom meeting, and sometimes, and as you know, in the beginning, it go like connecting, you waiting and looking and waiting. And once the connect, it's the process start. Once the process start, you forget you are connected to something. So then you are in the process. So now you have to understand, you can understand it very clearly. Forget about all the other things. It is not a rocket science. It's very simple. So once you connected to something, you forget you are in a connection, you depending from connection. So now bring the same mechanism to your mind. So you are always connected to something. That connection itself, that process itself, like a current keep happening in you. And another way we call it as the desire, life force, the intention to become bigger and better. with the self-centered idea. And once you come to that level, you forget you are connected to something. But and just suddenly just imagine you get diabetes or high blood pressure or maybe cancer. Then you go to doctor. So they examine, testing your blood and urine and thing, and then they come to a point, oh, your DNA, your forefathers, your parents, your grandparents, coming from this bloodline. And because of this, that, you have this. And then you never thought the body that you carry. And you are in a connection with something. And not only that, it giving the opportunity to that move forward, and you even maybe that you will disappear within another few decades or 100 years. You disappeared. Your all the pictures even erased, and no one knows that who you are. Even no one know that you exist here. But still, your children, your grandchildren, your grandchildren. And maybe they go to a doctor and then suddenly they say, oh, your parents, 2021. And at that time, they had this, that. Because of this, you have this. So like that, there's a connection happening in you and you don't see. So that's a physical connection, that the material connection, and you have to understand this, everything links together. And we depend on that. And then another connection that this physical world with our body, genetically, we are connected to our history. To our through the bloodline we carry. And another thing, with our ideas, thoughts, we have deeper another connection. So that connection, you may not going to aware or see clearly, sometimes invisibly, underneath this all the skin, underneath this all the material things, that connection keep happening. It always in connection. And it is in a process, that's why you don't see it. So in another way, that we call this whole process samsara. Your ideas, your thoughts, reproducing always another thoughts, another ideas. And then our body, mind keep chasing around it. We are running in this endless journey. So, and at the same time, our thoughts having a connection, and then in that thoughts, there is a deeper, another connection. That connection is the whatever the good thoughts you have, it has a connection with the others' good thoughts. Remember this very carefully. And if you have any thoughts related to greed, hatred, or the delusion, what will happen invisibly? You have a deeper connection with others' greed, hatred, and the delusion. So it naturally happens. Like the way the water find the water, fire connected to the fire, wind connected to the wind. It naturally happens. Only thing is, this is another way, this is a phenomena, this is the dharmata. This is the very behavior of the nature. So once you know that, you have responsible yourself. If you experience something, greed, hatred, or the delusion, yourself, and remember, it is a kind of like an invitation for the greed, hatred, and the delusion. So out of that, always the struggle going to happen. And then when there are thoughts happen with the loving kindness, generosity, and the compassion, and then remember, it always become an invitation for the loving kindness, generosity, compassion, and the wisdom. And then once you have that thoughts, that connectivity, what will happen out of that connectivity? You build up a history. And out of that history, what will happen? You build up your future. So then you are in a kind of like you are holding an epicenter in between the past and the future generations. In the middle, you have responsibility to look into yourself and see from where you come. And once you recognize that, you will see from where you go. So sometimes in this life, we experience something very new, that is Buddha's teaching. And maybe it happened in the past, and maybe because our body is so old, even 2.5 billion years, more than that sometimes. This journey is so old. Remember that. Your body, the journey that you coming is so old. The connection that you have is so old. But still, there is something that we have, that is our present moment of experience. That is brand new. But at the same time, recognizing it as a brand new moment, and at the same time, developing the connection towards it is a totally different way of living. So then you can have two methods in your life. So what is the very normal, comfortable, well-known way? The way that keep happening our life. That means you are very old, connected to your forefathers, ancestors, grandparents, and from there through your bloodline, that there is something happening you. So if you can go with that connection, then your children will be like that, your grandchildren will be like that. You know? So you will see it. It will happen. The same like your grandfather and your grandmother, and what the behavior of them. And maybe you will see, oh, my father also like that. And you see, my mother also like that. And then not only that, and after that you see certain things pop up in you also. And then you know, oh, my father also had this. My mother also had this. And then what will happen? You will see your children also going to repeat that. Maybe you will be, sometimes you will be so proud about it. But you have remember, in that level it is okay, because that is it is the way that currents go. You know, but mostly the very dangerous thing is mostly in that current you always see the struggle, suffering, ignorance, unhappiness, sadness, worry, and mostly like a package you get a lot of disease. You never got born, you know, you born enlightened, you don't got the wisdom with any kind of knowledge, you didn't get it by birth. You know, very rare sometimes, you know, children have that kind of knowledge, but mostly averagely, look at what we gain by birth genetically. Most of disease cholesterol, sugar, and anxiety, and the depression, high blood pressure, low blood pressure, cancer. Those are the things we keep bringing from the history. And maybe if you keep repeating and if you keep that connection, you remember, those are the things you going to offer into future generations. And that's why all around the world, more and more hospitals, the doctors, pharmaceutical industry become bigger. Why? Because we are the one who contributing to the world. It's all the disease. That is a completely different way. This is the current that we keep going. This is a connection we keep happening. And then there's another connection. So that connection is what the Buddha taught. It's completely different. And you have to have so much strength, moral strength within yourself. And at the same time, willpower. And at the same time, awareness, sharpness. And at the same time, to release from everything, detachment. This all you have to bring as one to build up that connection. Why? Because remember, you are in a so huge flood, it's current. That's the samsara or the conventional level of currents, connection. So the other connection is in the very moment there something happens. So you drop that all the habitual current happening in you, and you drop that everything, and you bring the awareness to recognize what is happening in this very moment without depending on your past experience. That is what you need to develop as a profitable skill. And through the meditation, we're trying to address to that connection. So once you build up that connection, and maybe it happened within for 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you have to build up little by little. So as a human being, you are the only one can bring that connection. No other animal can do that. Why? Because all other animals, depending on karma, and they have already conditioned when they born to that life. On the way, they cannot change it. They cannot change their behavior consciously. Only human can develop this ability. So then you have to understand you are in a very special place. And maybe today we are here, but tomorrow we don't know where we'll go tomorrow. But then if you able to develop that connection very clearly, once you get connected to that, you are in a different level. Remember, while we are in this connection, we experience this all the misery, unhappiness, sadness, worry, disappointment, suffering, struggle. So I give another analogy. Just see, nowadays, we driving these cars, manual cars, automatic cars, and gasoline cars. So recently, I look into this future science, and I had some connection, the conversation with some people who in this field that are developing and work for the companies to build up this thing. So I asked, so what going to be in the future? How things going to happen? So they already build up cars with the connecting. It's everything connect, this automatic cars. And so then this newborn children Maybe they don't know how to drive in the future. They no need to know that. Why? Once they sit and the car will drive itself, and all the traffic light connected to the car, and all the road mapping and everything, you just put the destination, it will take you there. So like that. And at the same time, just look, then while we driving this manual, this automatic cars, when we sometimes stuck in traffic. But how about now, this drone cars come. So just imagine, so you are in now heavy traffic. Just imagine you take the 405, always, it's, so you are stuck there. And the condition of your mind and the distance that you have to travel, the time and the traffic, so this everything, and how you experience. Well, just imagine if suddenly, if there is another person having the drone car and lift it up from that point, and what will happen to his mind, the way that person thinks. He released from that all that conditions. Because while you are driving this car in this condition, you have these difficulties. But once you lift it from that, now you can see this, drone cars. And once you lift it from that point, you are completely in different level of experience, and you have different level of capacity, capabilities. And the same like, while you are in this connection of conventional connection, what will happen, what you experience is totally different when you come to the connection of this moment of connection. Once you come to the awareness and the tranquility state of connection, it's totally different layer you will going to experience. Like you are getting to a drone car. Any traffic, any lights, anything, is not relevant anymore. So your mind has that, you can get into that shift. But at the same time, because we are more comfortable in this conditional, conventional life, and what happens? And we are experiencing this. There is a book called Conversation with the Devil. Conversation with the Devil. And in that conversation, so there is a person asking from the devil, and how you hold this world and how you manage this thing. So then the devil tells, so I have some agents. I don't go and work myself. I send already some agents and they are work for me. So then this person asks from the devil, so who are these agents? And then the devil says, the parents, teachers, and priests, and all the gurus, the leaders, this all my agents. So then this person asks, why, how they become your agents? Because they are conditioning the life, whoever these children, and they are saying, okay, you do this way, you do that way, so like that. They are conditioning, and then the children start to follow them. So while they are following their parents, teachers, and whatever the way they learn, the schooling system and everything, and they believe it as the life. And sometimes the monks or the priests taught and hold them and build up a life of followers to follow only them. And once they become a follower of them or a believer of them, rather than the dharma or the truth, people come to believe people. And once they come to that, then the devil tells, that person belongs to my territory. So, like that, and when we enrich and we empower that, the connection that we got from others, and then we will develop that into the future. But there is another connection that you can develop, that is the dropping that all the connection and come to the moment of experience. So that's why when it comes to the vipassana level, you don't bring any methods, any patterns, any teachings. You completely free from that all and keep your awareness clear. In that very moment, what you're going to experience? You will experience another connection keep happening around this all. That is the beauty. That is what the Buddha saw. In the vipassana level of experience, you will see that. So this is a kind of like a secret. Once you get it, even you can manipulate this material, physical, mental world. But it is up to you. Don't do that. So I will, just give a little information for you, because you are practicing, you are listening. You should know what is beyond this. Otherwise, sometimes you don't look into that. So just I'm telling it because once you know that, it will be helpful for you to look into it. So there are two connections now you already know. So one is from our parents, forefathers, the physical history. Another one with the greed, hatred, and the delusion or the thoughts condition. Loving kindness, generosity, and the wisdom. So two connections. Third one, that you drop this all the connections and you come to the moment of experience, awareness, direct perception, no thoughts. You don't bring anything from other connections. You completely become neutral. Once you come to that connection, you can see only there's another connection happening. Heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness. Hardness has a deeper connection to the hardness. Heat has a deeper connection to the heat. Motion has a deeper connection to the motion. Liquidity has a deeper connection to the liquidity. So once you see this connection, so as example, this everything depend on the hard, motion, liquidity, and heat. So everything in this material world depend on that. So those are qualities that can recognized by the mind, not just by touching, and it is you can recognize it by mind. So once you come to that level of clarity and understand, and what happening when in in that layer anymore. Maybe when somebody see you as a human or any material. So like in the beginning, I gave the simile that you are just driving the manual, this gasoline car, and then you shift into drone car. Then you get into different level of experience. So like that, once you come to the moment of connection, direct perception, you get into the deeper connection of the heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness. And at the same time, when you see a person, when you see a things, when you hear something, when you smell something, naturally your mind can recognize the quality of the hardness, heat, motion, and liquidity. And once you recognize that, so that's as example, there is a person, and the hardness, heaviness, toughness is in that person. So you drop the gender, you drop the name, you drop the form, you directly address to that person hardness. And that person anymore cannot hold it to whatever that person want to do, because he become a kind of like he get into a trap, because you directly address to the most strongest quality that person carry. So the personality come out of that that building block. So then you go to the depth and you address to that, and that person surrender. And maybe there is a softness, and you see that. So that it is a mental quality you grab and you address to that softness, and anymore that material things or the physical things cannot be independent, because you already trapped it, hold it. So like that, in the beginning, if you able to recognize this deeply and experience and see it within yourself, how the heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness behave, you will see this everything happens according to heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness. So then just imagine that there is a quality that maybe the heat, anger related to heat, fire. So you recognize that. And then somebody having a cancer. So then you know the first element is the heat. So you recognize maybe you having a cancer. You recognize that the heat is so high in you. It is so powerful in you. And once you recognize that recognition itself giving you some kind of wisdom to bring it down. And that itself become the solution for the treatment for the cancer. So like that, it's in everywhere, this all the heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness govern. So once you come to the vipassana level of understanding and you see this connection, and out of that connection you will see always this heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness having a relationship, another connection to impermanent, unsatisfaction, and selflessness. That's why out of this, or any heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness, out of these four elements, whatever appear, it appear with that quality related to heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness. What are those qualities? Impermanent, unsatisfactory nature, selflessness. So once you experience that, the experiencer itself is a result of four elements. You recognize it. And once you see that, what happens? You know the experiencer, if it is the result of the four elements, the another nature, there is another connection with that four element. Impermanent, unsatisfactory nature, and selflessness. So you are itself. That you having it. You are come out of that impermanent, unsatisfactory nature and selflessness. So then what you're looking for, what you try to understand through the Dharma, what you try to learn, it's you. So once you understand it, it is you. You complete your mission. You end your journey. Because anymore, there is nothing to look, there is nothing to understand. Why? Because this whatever happening within ourselves, it itself is the Dharma, wisdom. So if you don't have that clarity, maybe you jump into that first level of connection and you can go. So then it is a different level that you're experiencing. And that's why the cultivation of the mind means we upgrade, develop our mind to bring that shift happen moment by moment, moment by moment. So I hope this little talk will help you to clear your connection and see where you should connect. And after you should connect, what you should keep developing in you. So with that, I bless upon everyone with this good practice. May all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityo vivajjantu sabbarogo vinasatu mate bhavatantarayo sukhi dīghāyuko bhava. Ittavata cammihi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Idam me punya kammanga savakkaya vaham hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless.